Deb and Tish, for those of you who don't know, Deb and Tish are some of our amazing ambassadors. When we were at TCEA earlier this year, it was earlier this year, right? I've lost all
It
track of time.
was. Seems like
Yeah,
years.
right. When we were at TCA earlier this year, Deb and Tish were a huge help in helping us put the stall up and look after everybody in the conference. It was amazing. So it's such a pleasure to have you guys joining us again today and helping support what we're doing here. Right. So for those of you joining us who don't know what Wakelet is, we're a free-to-use content curation platform, and we allow you to save any content from across the web. So anything, it can be a tweet, a podcast, a YouTube video, an article, anything that you want. You then organize it any way that you want, add your own content, your own notes, your images, and that type of thing. And then you create beautiful visual collections that you can share with your students, your teachers, and your wider school community. So we're completely free to use, and we're available on web, iOS, Android, and teachers and students are all using Wakelet in many, many different ways. And we're just going to show you one way today, but if you join our community and stay in touch with us, you'll be able to find out some other amazing ways that teachers are using Wakelet. But today we wanted to talk a little bit about our Student Ambassador Program and how it can help your students become student leaders and engage some really key digital skills. But first, Deb and Tish, it's been like 2 weeks in lockdown now, right? Like we're living in very, very strange times. And I just wanted you to share how has it been for you guys? How are you handling it? Tish, do you want to jump in first?
Oh, we have Charlotte from Texas. Just want to shout out to Texas.
Hey, Charlotte.
2 weeks. I will tell you that here in Texas, in North Texas, where I'm living, we were on spring break. And around the time of spring break, I was personally already quarantining my own family because I have a 10-year-old childhood cancer survivor, and I wanted to make sure that he was not exposed to anything. So we actually, Misbah, have been quarantining now. This is our 4th week. We have been doing online learning for 2 weeks. And I just want to shout out to every single teacher, administrator, tech support person, because as the support person in my district, I will tell you, it has been difficult to quickly switch over to remote learning. Thankfully, we were one-to-one already. Thankfully, we were already implementing tools like Flipgrid and Wakelet, and all of our students have iPads, and we were able to hand out devices to our students. But I will tell you that this has been an overwhelming 2 weeks, supporting teachers nonstop. From the parent perspective, all of you out there that are doing support for your schools and also have kids at home like I do, my morning was a little bit crazy. I was messaging Misbah about the webinar. I was working out at the same time that I was also helping my 10-year-old with past, present, and future tense verbs, trying to make sure that I was getting myself ready. I was texting teachers and my coworkers, and, it just really is, we're all in this together, and it really is not possible unless we all help each other. And really, my best advice for all of you out there is to be patient and be flexible. Everybody in the globe is trying to access it seems, the same tools. And so, it's definitely a different world now.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Deb? How have you been feeling?
Well, being a solo librarian, luckily I have all this ed tech background, so I've been able to help a lot with copyright and, read aloud permissions and how that's going. I created a huge document that I'm more than willing to share out with all kinds of resources that are out there for teachers. All of my family is in New York. It's a massive hotspot right now. So my brother, who works for the city of New York in the mayor's office, I get a lot of information for him. And, we have a lot of friends from New York that are teachers, and they're just knocking it out of the park. I'm sharing stuff with teachers from New York that they don't have one-to-one. Like we're lucky in Texas, at least I know in our district, we are a one-to-one, and a lot of the campuses or districts around us are. So I've been sharing stuff with my brother and sister-in-law. They have a 5-year-old and 8-year-old. They needed laptops. I gave them a suggestion. Then I just said, here, try this, try that, try this. I have a 5-year-old niece who taught herself how to use Book Creator. So the thing that teachers, educators, administrators have to understand, these kids can figure things out. they will figure out the remote learning. And one of the things I did, being that librarian that's kind of alone in a sense, I created a Google Classroom. It's like, none of these kids are going to join. Oh, 60 of them have joined. I've been doing daily breakout EDU with them. I post riddles, anything. So if they're those kids that need a place, they know that I have that place in that classroom. So yeah.
It's been really difficult. I think that this is probably, I think, the third webinar that we've done so far that's on the topic of remote learning. And, you know, none of us are teachers at Wakelet, so we really just hear from you guys. So we've been experiencing like remote working, and it's been a little bit crazy. Like, it's been amazing in some ways because being able to communicate with everybody has been good. You'll find yourself sometimes that, you know, you're going over the top with your communication, so things tend to run a lot smoother, believe it or not. But yeah, generally, you know, you echo some of the sentiments that we've been hearing from teachers that we've spoken to over the past 2 weeks. I think one of the biggest problems is an equity issue, is where students don't necessarily have access to, you know, computers or an internet access at all. Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's one of those overlooked problems, I think. But I think one of the things that we've been promoting right now is just for teachers to kind of relax a little bit, calm it, you know, don't feel really overwhelmed with the amount of tech tools that are being, you know, that you're being surrounded by. We like to try and offer support and help even outside of the Wakelet platform. So any help that you need, just let us know. We've been getting people in webinars, you know, just asking us really basic questions about, you know, how to use the internet essentially. And we want to ask those questions and help teachers as much as we can. But that leads us on to one of the reasons why we're holding this webinar today, which is all about trying to make it easier for teachers to engage their students whilst they're in this home environment. And I'd like to tell everybody a little bit about the Student Ambassador Program and how it came about. So Deb and Tish that you see, these wonderful women before you, they helped Wakelet create the Student Ambassador Program. And what it is it's a program with 6 tasks that is very teacher driven. And what it does is it allows your students to learn key digital skills that your curriculum may not be activating. So things like citizenship, things like communication, things like collaboration, creativity, all of these key skills that your curriculum might not be activating, that's what the Student Ambassador Program does. So today we're going to be showing you a little bit about the program, how to enroll your students. But first, let's just jump into a few questions. Maybe we'll just take 3 minutes just to set this up. Deb and Tish, you were really critical in putting this program together. What was your favorite part of this process? Because when people go and enroll their students now and they join it after this webinar, hopefully, they're going to see all the work that you put into it. What was your favorite part of doing that, very briefly?
Student voice and choice. Kids have the ability to choose whatever tool, however they want to present it. Some of the examples we're going to show today, I didn't even think of the way that the kids did it. I know that there are SWAT kids, our ed tech team and my library aides, they crashed through it and they really had a good time. And the thing that one of my girls, well, actually all of them are going to college in the fall. They all like the fact that this is something that they can use when they're in college to curate resources for their different classes, to just start something with the family, you know. There's just so many possibilities of what kids and what students and teachers can use Wakelet with.
Student voice, student choice.
I will tell you that my favorite part about this entire process, well, one was being able to really work with Misbah on putting the task together. It really was just incredible. I will tell you, this has become one of my passion projects, because for the teacher, there is not a lot of work on your end as far as putting tasks out and facilitating for your students. We've kind of done the work for you to help you get those tasks out. You can facilitate with the students, but then the students are self-pacing and they're project managing and they're time managing those projects. And for me, I think that is the best part about this entire program, because every company and corporation out there is going to want someone who can do that on their own. And I think this project and this program will teach your students that skill, in addition to all of the digital citizenship skills, the curation skills. It really, I cannot say enough about it. And I'm so excited about those educators that are really utilizing it.
The
awesome.
the thing I really like too is whenever we tweet about this, I always refer to it as the 6 C's, and people need to understand it's the typical 21st century learning skills, but we've thrown in curation and we've thrown in digital citizenship, with both pair up together, because if you don't have those digital citizenship skills, you're not going to have the proper curation skills and
Exactly.
Vetting sources and all that. So
Exactly. And I think that one of the reasons that I love it is because when we first set it out, we this was when we first did this was in January, wasn't it, when we released it? And this was before anything happened. I think there was just like a few tiny echoes that something was going to happen with this global pandemic. And we never thought in our minds that teachers are going to start using this even more now, because they just don't have that face-to-face interaction with their students. So, we turned around and we saw that the amount of teachers that were enrolling their students on the program was just skyrocketing. We realized that, this is actually a really powerful way of engaging your students remotely. I just want to hear from you, Deb and Tish, real quickly. Why is this so powerful for remote learning? Why is it that this particular program kind of fits so well into the kind of home learning scenario? Tish, do you want to start us off? And
Sure. So I have been doing a lot of research. Really, honestly, to be really candid, I'm not sleeping well, and so during those moments of being awake in the middle of the night, I've been researching, and what I'm finding is that across the globe, not just the U.S., but across the globe, people, administrators, leaders in schools are setting expectations for how much time students are online. And that is not consistent across the board. And I cannot find a ton of research. I see some, suggestions on the amounts of time, but I will tell you that this ambassador program is going to help you meet that criteria for those students online. All of the tasks are feasible for your students. They can start it and they can walk away and they can come back to it, which is what I highly recommend. I do not recommend recreating an 8-hour day at home. That is not feasible and not realistic for so many of our students. And so that's what I really love about it. I love that you can place this in your learning management system. I'm going to show you an example of what I've done with my kids, and just, you can put it out there and answer questions and have your kids engaging with each other. I just think that this is the perfect time to do this, because I think we all aren't sure of what to do, and there is not a rule. There's no rules. We don't really know what the mold is yet. And so I think it's really a great opportunity to be creative with your students and have them do something fun. A lot of the students I'm hearing from are feeling overwhelmed with workload and hours that they're putting into the online learning. And I think that they really just want to connect with their friends and their classmates and us as teachers. And they just want some fun projects. And that is what we give you. They have voice and choice in what they are creating, and they can have fun with it. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for all of you out there to sign up.
Awesome. We're going to go through the how to take you through the ambassador program very shortly. But just before we kind of dig into that, any advice for teachers now? Because I think that a lot of teachers are probably thinking, this is another kind of program that's going to take me a while to set up. It's going to take me a while to onboard my kids, that type of thing. What kind of advice would you give, or tips to teachers who are looking to, jump in and do this just before they do that?
Pace. I don't even know where you start, Tish.
Well, so my advice is it's super easy to sign up. Misbah is going to show you exactly how to sign up. Once you've signed up, we have given you everything. The tasks are outlined for you, the objectives, the goals. Deb and I each are on the every single task, and we're kind of introducing it to the students and the teachers so that you can have an overview of that. And then it's just a matter of pushing that out to your learning management system, however you do that, whatever's working. I mean, even, Seesaw is a big one that's being used right now, K through 5, Google Classroom, Canvas. It's so simple. And I would just say that you're not going to have to do a ton of work, and you're just going to get to see what they've created, and you're going to be just amazed at what they come up with.
that was the thing, we'd had, how many kids was it? 11, 12, 11 we had. And it was just so interesting when you saw their creativity come out. The one task, which I'll be showcasing, one of my girls sat back and she said, I don't know what to do. And it was the critical thinking one. And I looked at her, I said, did you ever do a debate? And all of a sudden, the light bulb, she goes, I've got everything already. And she was able to pull stuff and add resources, which I think I have her example that I'm going to show when we get to that step.
Amazing. So I've got a little survey prepared for everybody once we go through the different tasks, but I'm just going to share my screen very quickly and show you how to actually get set up on the program. After we've done that, we're then going to jump to Tish and Deb, who are going to take us through the tasks and help you understand a little bit why these tasks are so important right now and how they can be given a nice remote learning spin as well. So I'm going to share my screen. So Tish or Deb, let me know when you can see my screen.
Wow. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So, James, if you're in the chat, you can just share this link, community.wakelet.com/student ambassadors. This is our login page for the Student Ambassador Program. So this is where it all begins. This is where your journey with your students begin. A way to bring the sixth season into your classroom, improve digital citizenship, and create student leaders. Now, it's important to note that this program is for students aged 13 and over. We are currently working on a Student Ambassador Program, like a junior Student Ambassador Program for students under 13, but this is for students who are 13 and over. To join the program, you just click join the program. You'll be taken to a form, and in that form, you just fill out a few really basic details. We don't ask much from you. Again, we want this to be very student-driven, very teacher-driven. So you just let us know how many students you're thinking of enrolling and what school you're at. I think that's the only information that we ask. We don't ask which students are enrolling. We don't ask for any of their profiles or anything like that. Now, there are three key reasons why to enroll your students on the program. First is to help your students develop key lifelong skills. The second is to engage and activate the sixth C in your classroom through these tasks, which Deb and Tish are going to go through. And the third is to really empower your students to become leaders. I'll show you an impact collection later on in the webinar that really shows how seriously students are taking this. Students love getting that shiny certificate at the end, that sense of accomplishment, that sense that they are an official Wakelet ambassador. They've achieved something that they can then take into their studies and even later employment as well. There's a beautiful video here on why we created the program. You see some familiar faces there. This is how the program works. So these are the 6 different badges, the 6 different tasks that these students will earn. And it just gives you a lot of information on how to get started with the program, and then links to the team as well, so you can reach out to any of us and help. Now, once you've actually gone through and joined the program, you'll be able to unlock this page here. This is the official Wakelet Student Ambassador page. This is all it is. You've got getting started, you've got the student tasks, and then at the bottom you've got completion. These are all separated really easily for you to do. And again, as you'll see as we go along, and I'm sure some people in the chat who've done it as well, like Wendy, have been talking about how easy this is to do with your students. It doesn't require that much maintenance. You set the tasks for them. You basically can share this collection with them, which Tish and Deb will go through, and then they get on with the task and send you a link back. They create that collection and send you the link back. On one of the collections, which is all about, I think it was communication, the students have to give a presentation, for example. There's no reason why you can't set up a Zoom call with your students during this remote learning time and have them actually present on screen. So create a slideshow and present that on screen to earn that badge. So that's essentially it. I'm going to show you this last thing before we jump onto the tasks. So this is the Student Ambassador Impact Collection. I'm not sure who that gentleman is. I don't trust him now. And we've got a flag here, which I actually pulled up just in a previous webinar, but I realized that this is probably not the time to show a map of the world with a lot of pins in it. So let's just say it's global. There's teachers and educators from across the world who are all enrolled in this program, from Russia to Kenya to Australia and everywhere in between. It's amazing. And like I said, teachers are getting their students really, really engaged. When you go through this program, when you go through this collection, you see that the students are engaged with it. They're doing it on their devices. They're showing off their certificates. They're really, really proud of the things that they've accomplished. And hopefully after this, you'll be able to set your students on that journey as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And looks like what we're going to do is we're going to go to task 1 with that's for Tish. So Tish, if you just share your screen and show the audience what task 1 is.
Okay, so I'm actually going to share my screen, and I'm going to show my screen in Google Classroom. So give me just a second to open that up for you guys.
Looks like we can see it.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm in my Google Classroom because that is the learning management system that our school uses. But I have also worked in Canvas. It would be super simple to create this exact same thing. All I did is take the sign up link that Misbah just showed. And when you have access to all of those tools, then I just took everything I saw on that page from Misbah and I pulled it into this Google Classroom. And so under the classwork page, I actually went in and created all of this, and I organized it specifically so that my students would see the purpose first and the learning goals and objectives, which you will see when you get into that main page. And then I've given them additional resources. But task 1 is curation. And I speak about curation again on the webpage that Misbah just showed. But this is really meeting your students and giving them the opportunity, 1, to sign up for Wakelet. So they'll go in and sign up for Wakelet. They'll go in and create 1 new collection about themselves with 15 items. They can showcase anything: hobbies, talents, favorite things, places they want to visit. What I love about this is it really gives the student choice and voice, but aside from that, it really gives them ownership. And so once they're finished curating task 1, they share that with their lead educator and a peer. So I really like to pull in peer-to-peer reviews with my students. But I love that this can be housed here. And you can see that my students, they have all turned in their collections, and they're all right here. So it's super easy. I think this is one of the favorite ones, Misbah, that my students have worked on.
It's very popular.
It's very open. They can really pull in whatever they would like.
And I think that like it one of the things that I loved about that one as well is when I saw some of the collections that the students have done, you can really see the difference in students across the board and the way that they're going to interface with the program itself. Some students are focusing very much on who they are as a personality, whereas other students are focusing more on the things that they want to be, and they're a bit more aspirational. It's a really cool way, I think, to discover a little bit more about your students. Oh yeah, exactly like what Charlotte just said. I know that seemed fake impromptu, but it's genuine. I didn't see that, Charlotte. Charlotte says it would be a great way.
Yes, I actually want to go to what Charlotte said, because I really believe that something that is really huge in this stage of remote learning is the social and emotional learning and that aspect. There are so many students, again, that really just want to connect with their teachers and their peers. And I think this is a great way to pull that in. They can include their families. I love the Flipgrid integration. If you have not tried that is my favorite part, because they can pull in Flipgrid videos, they can include their families. It just really is a great way to build relationships in task 1.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's a great easy task that just gets them used to the platform and gets them used to, okay, I've begun my journey on the Student Ambassador Program now. Awesome.
Terry has a question about copying. So Terry, unfortunately, Google Classroom does not allow me to make to share that out and make a copy. I will tell you that I'm working on a Canvas version of this, so that because in Canvas you actually can copy, and so. But I can send you screenshots. If you'll connect with me, I'll try to help you set that up. Even if we do a Zoom meeting, I can help you set that up.
And like I said in the message just previously as well, Terry, that it's this is like very very teacher driven. So the way that Tish has done it and organized it is great, and a lot of teachers have taken Tish's kind of lead with that and kind of done it in that way as well. But then a lot of other teachers take a very unstructured way of it. They just kind of send it through email, or they just tell the class this is the task, and the class does it. It depends on who you are as a teacher and what works best for you in terms of your workflow. But yeah, I would recommend Tish's way of doing it. It's awesome. It's very organized. So what we'll do is we'll jump into task 2 now. I love task 1. We'll jump into task 2 with Deb. So Deb is going to share her screen and go through task 2 with us.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is task 2. This is how we built it into Google Classroom. And this is, again, when kids are unsure what you're asking, you just tell them it's 2 sides to an argument. And we gave them some suggestions, which is climate change or social media, teacher pay, cybersecurity. And then we make sure this is where the curation and the digital citizenship comes in. They have to use 5 different credible sources to illustrate both sides. So I'm going to show you. My library aide, Sarah, did this, which, again, it comes down to student choice. And she wanted to do something fun, so she chose Coke versus Pepsi.
It's a very serious subject, this. It's a great debate. I love it.
It is. So she just did her little blurb, and then she did the fighting points, so you can see the differences. And then she found the 10 sources, and what she did was she, again, split it up, showed sites that believe Pepsi is better, and then the 5 that sites believe Coca-Cola is better. And one of the things kids could also do is they could throw in that Flipgrid video and record themselves giving their perspective, or at least giving an objective perspective based on the research that they did. And again, that was a lot of fun doing that one.
I especially love this task because it really kind of speaks to me as I was a student. As you can't, I mean, I'm not sure if you could tell, but I like to talk a lot. And when I was in class, whenever there was a debate, I would always really try and dominate one side of the debate. And then one time I think it was in a critical thinking or religious education class, I can't remember. I was about a really hot topic, and I was like really defending this topic. And then the teacher was like, listen, calm down. You're going to go to the other side now so that you're not talking anymore. And then when I got to the other side, I started defending that other area of the argument as well, and just started going as much as I could on that. So I really love that that particular task, because I think in times like this, for a student to understand what the difference is between a legitimate source and an illegitimate source, or a reliable source or an unreliable source, it's really important. So when you go through the feedback with your student, you can then explain that to them and say, you've done a really good job. You've got some great content from good sources, or, where did this come from? What, think about what the intention was of the author. It really helps you explore those kind of realms as well.
And that's where the whole fake news, information literacy, you can do a pre-lesson ahead of time, and that way, or just include a little video or a slide deck within the classroom that the kids can refer to, so they know they're looking and curating reliable resources. Right. Just because it's on TMZ doesn't mean it's a reliable resource.
Totally know it. Shall we go on to task 3 then, and take a look at what task 3 is? And that's Deb again, isn't it?
I might as well just leave my screen up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, why not?
Task 3, I lost the page, sorry. There it is. This is creativity, and the kids really had a good time with this. This is where they were creating a flag for a global Wakelet student program. Now, you don't necessarily, if you think about it, don't have to do it as the flag. You could change it up. So it could be, if they had an individual reading book, they could create a book cover. They could create a blurb for the book. They could create a book trailer. It all depends on the subject. But if you want to keep it simple for the original, keep it at the flag. And then they can use any type of ed tech tool to create this. And what the kids created, I believe some of them did it in Canva and some of them did it in Buncee. This is one example. She just simple and to the point. That was her flag. Organize, find, share, create, collaborate. She was trying to focus on the 6 C's. And so this was Jill, one of our SWAT kids. And then she did I think she did a video. I don't know what happened to it. I'll have to find it.
Yeah,
And then,
those videos are awesome when you have like the Flipgrid videos where they're explaining why they chose certain elements of the flag. Yeah.
And then the other example was my library aide. This was Sarah's. And I remember in her explanation, she liked this because it was the peace. And she thought of global. She thought of the UN and how Wakelet is bringing the world together with this project.
Yeah.
So that was
awesome. I love the creativity one as well. We've had so many, like I just said in the chat there, we had so many students kind of sharing their flags with us online, and some of them were amazing, and some of the Flipgrid videos that teachers shared with us as well. They went into so much depth. There was like a kid, and she was saying, a student, she was saying like, I tried this design, but it didn't work so much. And then I tried this design, but my teacher didn't like it. So, going down to that level as well, which is amazing. But creativity is really important. And I think especially now as well, I was having a conversation with Ken Shelton I think it was yesterday actually. We're talking about how important like creative lessons are at this particular point in time now. To keep the kids' brains occupied and engaged from that creative level is really, really important. I think task 4 is also yourself as well, isn't it, Deb?
Yep, collaboration. This was another fun one. Again, it became student choice and voice, where they created a music playlist. Now, they can do this in different ways. I know a lot of the kids went and pulled stuff right from YouTube, but the thing you have to remember, too, is if your YouTube channel is monitored at school, you have to find out what the kids are going to submit. And, of course, it has to be school appropriate. I know on our side, we had to approve the video so that way their peers who were editing and adding to their playlists were able to see everything. Because so if you don't approve it, they're not necessarily going to be able to see it. So I'm going to show you. This is Brady's. This one I absolutely loved because he really did thinking outside of the box. He went to Spotify and he picked his songs. He created a playlist in Spotify. As you can see, he called it Wakelet Playlist. And he took screenshots of each of the songs that he wanted to include, which I thought was just, again, there's that student choice, student voice. And then as you can see, this isn't all him. His peers who were editing followed his lead and did the same exact thing, and they put their 10 songs in and did the screenshots that way. So again,
this is a really good point to bring up the collaboration feature that we have on Wakelet. So when you create a collection, you can invite people to collaborate on that collection as well. So teachers are using the collaboration feature to create collections that their students can then plug into and add content to. And the students don't even need a Wakelet account to do this. They can just use a unique code to just kind of plug into the account. James has very conveniently shared a video there for you to watch later. So through the collaboration feature, we wanted to enable collaboration between the students as well. So this really hits those trigger points. So that was task 4, right? So we're on to task 5 now, which I think is Tish. So Tish, do you want to share your screen and then jump onto task 5?
Absolutely. Okay.
Amazing.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, it's there we go. Boom, done.
Okay, very good. Okay, so task 5 is communication. And like Deb, I'm going to show you some examples in just a minute. I have the next 2 tasks, but communication is students' choice presentation. And what I love about this task is they can pick a current event topic. You could really zone in on your subject. So whatever your subject is, this could be for history or math or anything that's current in your content area. They're going to create a collection, and then they're going to create a presentation. And what I love about this is now we're taking them, they're in Wakelet, they're doing their research, they're using their information literacy skills, and then now they're creating a presentation, and they can create that in whatever tool they would love. Again, student choice. So some of my students have chosen Google Slides. I have a particular student, Anora, who loves Buncee. So she creates everything in Buncee. And so once they are finished creating and including multimedia like graphics and videos and infographics, they will add that presentation to the collection, and then you have them cite their sources. I'm really big on this piece because I think it's so important for them to be able to validate where they're getting their information. And so this one is it's a great task. You may have some students who look at this and get a little bit overwhelmed and they go back to the beginning task. But at the end of this task, I think it's really important because what I have told Misbah before is all of these tasks are prompting conversations in the classroom that are not happening on a daily basis. And even with me as a teacher of digital citizenship, I will tell you that this prompted so much conversing about this topic, right? Conversing and debating and having healthy discussions about things that we had not before. So I'm at Wakelet, and I just wanted to point this out. When you get into Wakelet, Wakelet has made it super easy to find remote learning. And it's right here. You just click the remote learning guide. I love that it pops up for me when I log in. So shout out to Wakelet. Thank you all for doing that. So here's my Wakelet. I'm kind of just going to take you through and show you. I was talking with Misbah earlier. I have a whole recipes collection that I use with my family. You can see I collect everything from conferences and just different things. But here I've put together the Wakelet Student Ambassador collection. And what I did is I took all of their collections and I put them together. And so you can see that I have put them, I think I'm looking at media view, I believe, but I have taken all of their ambassador collections, every about me, every playlist, every flag creation, every debate, they're all here. And then I'm going to take you to the very bottom because that is what I'm going to talk about next with task 6. There's Brady's playlist. It's taking a little bit for it to load. Misbah, you guys can see this, right?
Yeah, we can see it. I just call it home Wi-Fi. That's what it is.
Right?
Home Wi-Fi.
That's exactly that. So as you can see, I have put together every student portfolio. That is the very last task. So the final task for the Student Ambassador Program is for students to create a digital portfolio on Wakelet. And what they can do is they can add sections. So I'm going to show you the famous Julie portfolio. And as that's loading, I'm going to tell you, I got a message from a student, my student Avery, who is from West Texas, Lubbock. And she got a message yesterday that her teacher was sharing her portfolio inside one of her Zoom collections. So this is Julie's portfolio, and Julie has really used only Wakelet from the very beginning. You can see she's a third-year SWAT member, and SWAT is the Student Technology Leadership class that I teach. And Julie has been in that program since it began. And so she started using Wakelet several years ago. You can see that she's put in sections here. And I want you to take special note here at the Madam Pastry. So I'm going to scroll down and show you what this looks like. Here's all of her ambassador Wakelets. So she put that in a section. And then she put her digital portfolio together. They're actually working on this now. This is their remote learning project, is to update their resume and their portfolio. But Julie has created her own baking business, and she uses her Wakelet profile right here at Julie Parsons. She uses that on her business cards. And I will just tell you that she is booked out usually a couple of months in advance. Even I, as her teacher, I have to plan ahead and make sure that I get on her calendar. She makes the most incredible cakes and desserts and treats. But you can see that she, as it loads, you can see that she is putting all of this, curating all of her own creations into this portfolio to show all of her current and future customers, just to bring in her business. And so she's got some incredible things. She also lists her Instagram profile on here. So she has a business Instagram profile. And it really just ties all in together, Misbah. I always say students can lead, and I believe that that's the truth. They can lead when we give them the opportunity to do so, and they will just blow your mind. Look at the Sweet 16 one. It's one of my favorite ones.
Oh,
and
that's
then
awesome.
This one was actually really popular. I think you guys can see that. The little tiny bottle with the $100 bill inside of it. And then this cake right here, I'm not even going to lie to you. This cake is my favorite. This cake was made for my son's birthday last year. And this cake right here was made for my daughter. She makes the most incredible cakes. So
that's amazing.
She's able to show that. Yeah, she's building her business by using Wakelet. And I think, honestly, you guys, that is really the bottom line. They're able to create all of these collections, put them together into a final portfolio, be able to create a resume, and then really use that for real life as they go out into the world. So it's my favorite task. I use the portfolio and resume task every year. And I just cannot say enough about it.
Right. I love that as well. What a fantastic thing to end on. And I think that one of the things that that kind of lends itself to really well is this idea that every task is very transferable, right? So every single task is going to help them when it comes to applying to college, further education, and even their careers. So everything from making a presentation to then share with their colleagues, communicating, collaborating. I mean, look how important remote working is right now, for example. Things like creating that portfolio at the end. That's essentially like a resume, you know, it's essentially like a CV. It all kind of lends itself really well into these kind of exactly like what James says, a portfolio for life. You know, students do some incredible things over the school year, and quite often, sadly, those things are kind of just drift off into the ether, and you know they don't have anything to show for them at the end. With something like this, and a lot of people outside of the Wakelet student ambassador realm are still using this. Students are still using that portfolio area of Wakelet to create some amazing things. But I think I love the way that it plugs in really nicely into this one. I'm going to do a quick survey. Now, this is only like the 4th time that I've tried this, so I hope that it works. I'm going to try and shoot this survey out, so hopefully everybody can see this on their screen. And if you just scroll down, the question I'm asking is, after looking at everything that we've seen, which skill is the most important for students to learn? I think it'd be really interesting just to get you guys ideas. So we'll leave this up for just a few moments whilst we wrap up. And then at the end, we'll discuss the results. I've just sprung this on you, Deb and Tish. You have no idea that this is going to happen. Look at this magic.
No.
This is awesome. Oh my goodness, Misbah, it makes me sad that you're making me choose one of these.
I know, right? I know. I wanted it to be a pretty difficult decision for people, to be honest with you. Just because, yeah, Tammy, I should have done that. All of the above. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This is a new feature that I'm just trying out. Maybe the question wasn't the best, but hopefully it can spark up some debate here. We've got pretty even, it looks like, between critical thinking, digital citizenship, and collaboration. And I'd agree with those in terms of you know how important they are, I think, because they really are like real life skills. You know, communication obviously as well, but yeah, I think the critical thinking aspect, which is you know covered through the debate area of the ambassador program, that task, that challenge, you know, picking different sources to choose and have that debate. Digital citizenship, which is the end, the big finale of this Wakelet digital citizenship. This Wakelet student ambassador journey is the big finale. The portfolio, so that's really important. Who are you as a person online? That's what the digital citizenship task is trying to achieve and ask. And then of course collaboration as well, which is super important. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. We're collaborating. So I'm going to end the voting. That was really, really, really interesting to hear, and I'm going to share the results for everybody. So we should see them. So there we go. 13% critical thinking, 17% digital citizenship. So digital citizenship wins. Yeah, it's a big one. We have actually had some
one. Yes, you guys. Proud of you. Listen, Misbah, I will tell you, I'm seeing that everywhere. I'm on so many different Facebook groups. I'm obviously on Twitter, Instagram. I'm reading a whole lot. And what I'm finding, Wendy says it best, most of the students' internet experiences are for entertainment.
Right.
We're seeing, one of the things that my SWAT team created was a video conferencing etiquette. It was just a graphic, an infographic, and that was shared on Cult of Pedagogy, Jennifer Gonzalez's blog recently. And people were going crazy over it. And for my team and I, we just thought, well, this is just some basic knowledge. But the truth of the matter is that the majority of students and adults, I will say this, I think digital citizenship is not just a teen lesson. This is a lesson for all ages. I think that even the adults and the teachers who were hopping on conferencing calls and learning Zoom were not aware that, little things like you need to keep your mic muted so that the background noise is not interfering with the host.
Right.
You the raise your hand feature and the chat feature. So there was a lot of a learning curve, I think, but I believe digital citizenship is the key to all of it and making all of it work. Because if they don't have that foundation, there's no way you can ask them to, get on a Google Meet and know how to behave or how to
right.
learning.
Right.
Oh,
no,
they want my graphic. Okay, let me see if I can go find that for Marie. Let me see if I can go grab that
Sure.
for you.
So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody for joining us. It is, like I began this this webinar off, it is a really strange, difficult time right now, and I think that a lot of teachers are probably feeling a little bit worried and a little bit insecure. Am I doing this right? Look, nobody knows how to do it right. This has never happened before, ever. Like everybody. This is new for everyone. It doesn't matter what level teacher you are. So I would say, just while we wrap up here, I'd say that from my experience, I think that the student ambassador program that we're offering. So it's on my mind now, digital citizenship, because it won. That's what I'm like. The student ambassador program that we've put together, I think that it will really help you when it comes to just getting to grips with this remote learning story with your students, understanding a little bit about how they work and react. And it's kind of like risk-free. It's not really part of the curriculum, so you can just kind of put it out there. If your students respond well to it, which I'm sure they will, amazing, great, you can double down on it. If they back off, then you can think, okay, maybe I can change the way that I present this information to them. But it just will get you, it'll help you think, and the work has already been done for you. You don't have to go there and pull all these tasks together. It's already been done. So do you have any final words from Deb and Tish before we sign off?
So my final word is that you all are just doing amazing. You're all doing amazing. And I want to remind you that there is no mold for this. I lost my window, so I actually can't see any of you. I'm trying to find this graphically. No, really, teachers are doing an amazing job. And I think we just need to remember parents and teachers and administrators, all of us in this educator community, that we have to lean on each other. We're going to have to let go of some of the ideals that we had previously because the landscape looks different. We're going to have to open up our mindsets just to the future and what the future looks like. I think this is an incredible time and opportunity to really look at what we need to improve, what was working and what wasn't working, and really just come together like we always do. I added that link for you guys. It's the SWAT Twitter account, and it has the graphic for the video conferencing etiquette. If you guys want to grab that, you absolutely may. Just give us credit.
Yeah, what I was also thinking is, remember to take time for yourself. Go take a walk away from the computer. I've been seeing people, somebody tweeted this morning, I am laying here on the floor, curled up in a ball, overwhelmed, crying, because am I doing this right? Am I taking care of my kids? You also have to remember to take care of yourself. Every day I've been pulling my husband, who's been working off at home for the last 4 weeks also. We go for a walk for half an hour. And it's amazing how when I do that, I feel the stress go away on my shoulders. reach out to each other, do the Netflix parties if you can, do Zooms. We've done a couple of Zooms. She and I'll just FaceTime each other just because, or we have the 20 million text chain, but that,
I think Deb is right. Yes, Deb is right. You guys go for a walk, get some sun. I know Misbah was working out while he was tweeting about our conference call, and I was working out in my house. But Netflix parties, Christine, we want to end on this, Misbah, because this is for everyone. We've been trying to figure out how to do Netflix parties with our UK friends, Misbah and James and Callum and everybody.
Yeah, they have different content over here. Yeah,
I know. I wish
movies.
So Netflix Parties is a Chrome extension in your Chrome web browser, and you go install the Netflix Party extension. You log into your Netflix account. You find something to watch, right? And then you click on your Netflix Party extension, and it gives you a link. And then you go in and you invite as many people as you want to this party, and you all watch at the same time. And it has a little chat window, just like it does here on our webinar. I will just shout out to Bunsy Bryan because I actually did a Netflix party. If you know Bunsy Bryan, we did one the other night. We were watching the incredibly chaotic series over here in America, Misbah, called Tiger King.
Oh yeah. I've been addicted to that. I can't. It's like a South Park episode, isn't it? The whole thing.
I still have 2 episodes, and I'm just like, what am I watching?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
Listen, and I think that brings up the last great point, which is make sure you're finding laughter in your day. Find activities, step away, go get some exercise, but find something in someone that's making you laugh, because that laughter is such great medicine for all of us.
Yeah, my son decided to stand in front of the television like they used to when they were kids going, isn't this a great I couldn't see the screen. And it was we just cracked up. And that's what we needed. And also, yes, you're at home with your kids. Take time. Put the electronics away. We have been doing game night. Just let's play Monopoly. And, we fight for 2 hours, but it has nothing to do with technology, nothing to do with people. And it's fun.
Yeah,
I hate Monopoly.
Well, I just wanted to just share a link here. This is just for everybody. I know that certification is really important for you guys. This is a link to get a certificate to this particular webinar, so certificate of attendance. Now, these links are only valid for, let's say, the next 2 or 3 hours. So I'm going to try and share this as much as I can just before. Sorry to bring the mood down and talk about this, but I realized I just forgot about it. I'm going to share that in the chat again. So if you're looking for your certificate of attendance, this is the only place to get it on this link now. So just make sure to open up a new tab. But we will leave the screen running for just 5 minutes once the webinar finishes. So I think that's it. I just like to end by saying, keep doing what you're doing. This is a crazy time right now, and we can try and stay positive as much as we can. It's always going to help. Exercise. Practice mindfulness, try and look at the lighter parts of life, reconnect with people that you may not have connected with in a while. I know that I've been doing that recently. Just try and make, lemonade out of lemons, as we like to say. But thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, Tish and Deb, for being a part of this amazing program. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, everybody in the chat can take a look at the Student Ambassador page, enroll your students. Take your time with it. There's no curriculum involved, no rush. Do it at your pace, and hopefully you'll have a great time doing that. Deb and Tish, if you just mute and mute your mics and your videos, we'll all do that, and then we'll leave everybody in the chat just for 5 minutes or so, just to kind of go up and take note of the links that we've shared. But thank you all so much for being a part of this. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Misbah.